Приветушки-плюшки, я Тори, а это Enderal, и мы продолжаем лазить тут по всяким пещерам, катакомбам и всему такому прочему. Прям тут же я остановилась, никуда не ходила, хотя можно было. В общем, я тут все думаю о том, что хочу такой же наряд, как у нее. И о том, что сейчас будет нехилая такая заварушка. А чё только меня увидели? Можно мне ответить на вопросик такой нескромный? Ой, у нее посох там какой-то. Слушайте, не зря я до этого продалась. Точнее, продала все, что у меня было. Не буду я них-то брать, в принципе. Ничего полезного. Так, женщина. Кого? Что это? Кто это? Тело. Что такое? Чего такое случилось?
My assistant Sev. It seems he's the reason these fuckers managed to take us by surprise.
Че, предатель, что ли?
Save it for Sev when I shove this staff up his ass and fire a thunderbolt.
Да подожди ты. Как-то тут какие-то записки странные. Я все еще не теряю надежду найти кольцо, которое будет меня регенерировать. Потому что, ну посмотрите на это. Все плохо. Так, она бежит, судя по всему, там либо никого. Тут вход. Куда нам?
Shit, can you smell that? That's fire. So, these guys really are trying to destroy our research.
Это
We have
плохо.
to do something. You're adept at magic, right? Take this spell and use it to put out the fires. If I'm right, the mercenaries are trying to destroy the stone fragments, and we have to stop them. You take the lower part of the ruin. Try to save as many stones as you can. I'll take the upper part, and when it's all done, we'll meet here again. Oh, and one more thing. If you should find my assistant Sev down there, try to take him alive and bring him to me. I want to take care of him myself, okay?
Без
Then let's
проблем.
get going.
Потушить как можно больше. А что за заклинание-то? Огнетушитель. Давайте я его поставлю сюда. Мне интересно, будет ли там еще кто-то. Надеюсь, здесь никого нет. А. Вот так даже. Я потушила? Ну ладно. Надеюсь, это не на скорости. Ты дурак, что ли, жумру? Так, ладно. Музыка такая напряженная. Давайте вот так. Кто бы сомневался. Фига. Так, ну пока никого не наблюдаю. Достань. Надеюсь, тут не будет какого-нибудь босса. О, посмотрите. Ладно, не буду его. Ай, тут что творишь? Это что было? Искусство борьбы. Какую-то книжку прочитала, даже не знаю, что это было. Ах ты. А я думаю, что музыка-то не прекращается? Так, сейчас очень опасно происходит. Я так понимаю, мне все еще нужно тушить огни. 3, видимо. Стоит, смотрит. Да, есть. Ай! Так, наверное, сюда пойдем. Ага, они тут все, я думала, нет. А вот и вот. Я не в ту сторону пошла, конечно. Блин, еще не один. Давайте валите отседа. Ну, мне чисто повезло. О, вот это надо взять. Обязательно зачарование сниму. Я подозреваю, что там уже никого не будет. Надеюсь. Фух. Блин, это было очень напряженно. Свитки телепортации всякие. Всякие всячины. Кинжал, чайник какой-то. Такие подозрительные выемки. О, здорово. Это что, проход дальше? Да.
Well, I'll be damned. That's what I call good timing. I
Я
take
все
it you were
потушила.
successful? What about the fragments? Did you save
Все
them?
чики-пики.
All of them? Call me a pregnant Lyran. You really are good at what you do. You won't regret it, I swear. What about Sev? Did you find him?
Да.
The little shit. I was hoping I could make him tell us who's
Он
behind all
что, умер,
this.
что ли?
Well, whatever. No use
Может, он
crying over
сбежал.
spilt milk, I guess. What's your name, anyway? Amidst all this, we didn't have time for formalities. You're pleased? Well, that's good to hear. I actually had the feeling that I was a little rough on you.
Да ладно, я все
Sorry for
понимаю,
that,
что у тебя тут
really.
такое происходит.
Sometimes I just have a short fuse. Anyway, let's talk about the reason you're here. For starters, tell me how you managed to get the old ranter to trust
Не
you.
помог
That
Джеспар,
doesn't happen very often.
которого больше нет.
I've got time.
Так сказала, как будто он умер. Надеюсь, я его еще увижу.
Uh-huh. So, you're saying that you learned all this, the magic, the swordplay, in such a short time? That's fascinating, to say the least. And these visions, if I understand correctly, you foresaw the death of the 2 apothecary?
Да.
It does indeed. But hey, who am I to judge? Here you are, the mysterious
Да,
stranger
без
who
всяких
appeared out of
усилий.
thin air and without
Чуть
much
не
fuss
умерла.
took out an entire group of sellswords. And even better, now you tell me that these skills come from studying magic for only a couple of weeks, and that you can see the future. You certainly are full of shit.
Что такое?
Not you, sorry. I mean, I just had a strange thought. But no, that That would be crazy.
Говори,
Way
что не
too
так.
unlikely. Well, I'd like to speak freely, but I'm bound to my agreement with the Holy Order. However, I will tell Constantine and old Aranthiel about my theory. And you will probably have to be patient
Нет, ну
until the
скажи, ну
latter
что тебе
decides
жалко,
to put
что
you in
ли?
the picture. Sorry.
Они мне не
But if my
скажут
idea is
никогда.
correct, then we'll be in a position to really kick ass. Anyway, hold still for a moment. Ready? All right, let's do this. Don't worry, it'll just tickle a bit. Fuck!
Ты меня убила? Где я? Я походу... Да, нет, я не думала, провалилась. Ты что наделала?
Are you all right? That wasn't on purpose. Really.
Ну,
Sorry, as I said, I didn't mean to do
да
that.
ладно.
I have no idea what just happened. The ritual isn't exactly
Что вообще
harmless,
было?
but normally you shouldn't feel more than a weak tickle at most, regardless of how it goes down. But, maybe this has something to do with the strangeness of your aura. I already said this, but it's so different. It's hard to explain. Somehow complex and cold, maybe. But hey, I'm probably just out of practice. It worked, and that's what matters.
Это точно
Your fever will
сработало.
now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even vanish if you're careful. And now I suggest you return to Constantine. I will get the stones to safety in the meantime. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it. Well, put simply, they're supposed to protect us. But old Aranthiel will tell you more about it later.
Ну
Take care.
ладно. Что делать? Я тут немножко умираю. Так, я тут закинулась вообще всем, чем только можно. Ну, о, как пошло-то. Возвращаться теперь обратно. Уи! Добралась я. До этого дедули... Ой, ты спишь? Ну, не спи.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well,
Ой, не буду я это, если честно, не очень хочу на все узнавать.
yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work. Even though part of her report seemed to be a bit enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest.
Давайте хоть посмотрю, что за Арантиаль.
Didn't I tell you that already? He's the highly esteemed, holy, grand master of the Order. Tilor Aranthiel, son of Lorius the First, praised be his name. An old legend, risen from the dead, or something like that.
Ну, окей.
In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Aranthiel has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget, my dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies?
Блин. Книга даст мне навык. В карте сокровищ я могу найти какую-нибудь фигню. В принципе, деньги, ну ладно, их не так-то на самом деле сложно заработать, просто я их очень быстро трачу. Ладно, давай книгу.
Very well. Now get a move on. I'm sure we'll talk again
2 очка
later.
обучения. О, лучше бы взяла карту. Понять этих очков обучения. Ну ладно, я уже не буду ничего менять. Взяла так взяла. Еще и ночью, он еще меня там ждет. Yes. Не yes. Так. Да хватит вы бубнить, а. Я, по-моему, не туда иду. Так, да, нет, не сюда. Ну, меня вообще никто не останавливает, всем пофиг. Он вот сидит, кушает.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle? Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts.
Зря ты так.
You have made this mistake before, Tila, back then in Kira. And we
Natara,
all know
the mission will happen. I'm sorry.
you have a visitor.
Да, стою, жду 3 часа, когда вы поболтаете.
So, you are the prodigy everyone
Да,
is
это
talking
я.
about. Interesting. I am Teola Aranthia, son of Lorius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name?
Я Астория.
And I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes.
А что еще?
I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I.
Да, да.
I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death
Да,
is my
знаю
son,
я, что это твой сын.
Narazul Aranthia. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom.
Он все
So he
испортил.
strived
Ты
to
знаешь?
overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim.
Ну, так
I
потому
still
что
do
его
not know why
отец.
he spared me. There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story which we won't discuss now. Good question. Because at the moment stability is the highest good, even more so considering what we are facing. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos that such a revelation entails. Enderal is the cradle of the order of the gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors. I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change, but for now it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind. There were circumstances
Блин, я не то
favoring the
нажала.
development. Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time. The dreams.
Так. А чё? Я что-то сломала, что ли?
I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of ignorance. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains
Да пошли уже.
2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains.
Наверное,
The
подумали,
others were
что ты им не
aware of my
угроза.
identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know.
Хоть толкаются тут.
Even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first, I doubted my sanity, but after some time, I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. He said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others, magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory.
Чё?
A collective subconscious. Yes, I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us. The Pyreans. 3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end.
То есть мы все умрем. Что за еще?
Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns. Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably you do at this moment. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The 2 castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was
Но
not
они же не могли просто взять и
least not in the
исчезнуть все.
sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no
Ведь их
magical
численность могла очень
explosion,
сильно
no plague.
сократиться.
Even
Они
though
просто
there was war
вымерли.
in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly.
Да.
They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an
Я
answer to
такая
the
не
red
одна,
madness.
такая
And I
избранная.
am one of them, as are you.
Это так неинтересно.
While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on
Чё
the
я не
role
хочу быть
of the
прорицательницей?
prophetess. It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without
Хотя я же
doubt,
вижу
it
будущее,
is
типа.
the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly.
Почему
I
я?
do not know. Firespark the mage has told me your story. And even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, you were insignificant before your change. So maybe everyone can become an emissary, or we simply have not understood the pattern yet. Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself. No, as I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us. And it
Очень все
is why I
сложно
want
и
your help.
непонятно. Ну, понятно, но не очень.
That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die? If it is wealth and power you seek, you will have it. The Order has enough of both.
Мне бы денег немножко. Да я помогу, чё мне, у меня как будто есть
Good.
выбор.
However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our Order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial. It is. Whatever you think about our
Ну, в
story,
принципе,
we
почему
are
бы и
the
нет?
only faction that is strong enough to oppose the cycle. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have access to our knowledge and resources. There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Naramese mages.
Это всегда такие
Consider
есть,
it an
которым ничего не
honor
нравится.
or a necessity. It is up to you.
Что
It
за
is the
тест?
trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival.
Кто
I
это?
have only a slight acquaintance with them.
Я
I know
догадываюсь,
that they're
кто.
both very talented
Но
and
я не
have been
скажу.
working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself.
Так,
At
ладно,
the
где их
border to
искать?
the heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death
Ну,
of
это
the
понятно.
Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter, if and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. No, Leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
Ну, слушайте, столько всего, прям вообще. Что-то у меня, я сломалась, еще хожу. Как это? Ладно, поедем сейчас узнавать, с этими новичками общаться, смотреть, что да как. Но в следующей серии. Потому что уже много времени. Пора заканчивать. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Подписывайтесь на канал, на группу ВКонтакте, на Тамблер. Ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии, если у вас есть такое желание. И всем пока.